Okay. I guess my other question to you is you are one of the few black featuring your movie at a festival. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, um, especially because I pride myself in trying to tell, honest, nuanced black stories. So it feels great. First off, being in Tribeca in itself is super fortunate, and I feel really fortunate to be in Tribeca. It's awesome, um, and I know that the festival lineup this year is pretty especially diversified, not only amongst people of color but also
Women.
amongst women as
Yeah.
well. So it's dope. I think it's just it's there's nothing but light at the end of the tunnel in this way. So it's exciting. Yeah.
Okay. What was it like for you to get funding for the movie? I know one of your movie. I was reading information that you have a movie that will be premiering in Nairobi,
Oh,
and
Nairobi,
yeah, we
yes.
can talk more about that later on. But what was it like to get funding as a director to get funding for
So
your movies?
so for Burning Cane, I put all of my savings into it. My
Wow.
producer Mose Mayer and I started an Indiegogo. My mother put money into it. I was working at that beignet stand, or a beignet stand, leading up to pre-production and saving up all of that money. And then a lot of the big resources that we got actually came in post-production. When I met my executive producer Ben Zeitlin, he helped facilitate me getting a cash grant that gave us photo cam, color correction, editing spaces at Second Line Studios, and that cash grant in particular gave us the opportunity to license stuff and get sound work done and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the resources were things that sort of came in chunks across the chronology of the entire project.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it came through and it was enough for us to get it done.
Okay. How long did the entire filming and production? How long?
So when I look at it in terms of when I finished the first draft of the feature, it's like roughly a 2-year cycle from the moment I finished the first draft to when we premiered. So we shot in the summer before my senior year, in July and August, and then from that point on, pretty much all of my senior year was in post-production. So I finished that final picture locked cut about a month before I came here, or I think it was in August. It's in that same sort of time frame. Sort of leaving me right now, but yeah, it's in that same sort of time frame. So yeah, it roughly. It's so crazy to think about, but like yeah, it is roughly a 2-year cycle from when I finished and first penned that first draft of the feature to when we premiered.
Okay. Talk to us about Nairobi. I'm interested.
So Nairobi is a narrative short that I made with Saint Haran, which is a creative agency founded by Solange Knowles. And the film is about a family, a francophone West African family who newly immigrated to New York City. And it's about a mother who has divorced her husband and now lives her truth as an openly gay woman. And her and her daughter, it's really just about the moments and their time now that her mother feels a liberation, and there's just their relationship is thriving in a way, the mother and the daughter these days. So yeah, that's another film that really is more about relationships than anything.
Okay. So when will that movie be premiering?
So I'm actually going to be talking about how we're going to be distributing that immediately after the festival. I'm going to be meeting with them, and I'm sort of in a back and forth with them. I was before the festival, but after the festival is when we're really going to get down in the gutter in terms of how we're going to distribute this. I know that there's going to be some public exhibitions in New York and LA, and I think later on it will be released on their online platforms after it does its live sort of event run.
Okay. Why Nairobi was it? And also, do you have any African actress in
Yes,
the
yeah. All of the actors in Nairobi are I believe Jaka, Jean-Francois, and Philly are all Senegalese. So Jaka is Senegalese, but she was raised in Paris, and Jean-Francois and Atlanta, Philly, gay. I believe we're both. I know they're both Senegalese. I'm trying to think about when they came to America, but both of them were raised in Senegal.
So it was important for you to use Africans.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the most important thing about using authentically francophone Africans as well, and they were incredible. Yeah, working with them was dope.
So back to Bonnie King, what do you hope viewers will take away from Cindy?
I want people to really look at how toxic masculinity sort of plays a part in our community, not only in the Southern Black Protestant community, but also within our culture as a whole. I want us to have a conversation about, like I said, that cyclical nature of destructive behavior. And I also want us to really take, kind of an objective look about what the church has done and what role it plays in our community. I feel like it's in a way can sometimes be a scapegoat for us addressing some of the real problems that are prevalent in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want us to have a discussion about that, on a kind of bigger level. Outside of that, in terms of the film, in terms of the story, I want people to just sort of, I guess, appreciate the insight of kind of getting into that experience, that like uniquely Black Southern experience, and I tried to. That's what I grew up in, so I feel like I told it as authentically as I could, But yeah, that's what I want people to get, that sort of insight into that sort of culture that I don't think is really been spoken on in that way. Yeah.
Okay. A couple of days after our conversation with Philip, his debut film, Bonnie King, won 3 awards at the Tribeca Film Festival, including the Founder Award. I asked him during our conversation what advice he has for aspiring actor and filmmaker getting into the
Well, I
industry.
say that I think that our stories, I think Black stories, need to be told and defined by Black voices. In terms of what sort of advice I have for them, I want to always be cognizant of the resources that people have available to them. And I do recognize that I was fortunate that I had the resources with my school and with those who were willing to donate so much to the production because they believed in me in the story. But don't ever let anyone tell you a film can't happen, because that's just not true. Whether or not you have to shoot it on a high 8 camera or whether you can use an Ursa Mini or a Red, if you want to make a film happen, it can happen. And if you have a community, if you have people who believe in you in the story, then you can go about it a little cheaper than, I guess, regular. But yeah, just don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't happen. It can't happen, because that definitely happened with Burning King, but we didn't listen to it, and it worked out. So yeah. And in terms of how it relates to our community, like I said, I do believe that our stories need to be defined and told by Black voices, and so we need to really take pride in the fact that, now is our time. We can seize that moment in terms of showing us how we want to be shown, how we're supposed to be shown, how we can be truthfully shown.
From one great story